underwater. All right, hopefully that fixed it. Never know, it's hit and miss, but I do like the picture of the fish. That was awesome. Thanks, Wist. Let's see who's in here. Alicia was in at like 5 o'clock last night. I was working on the show, but she didn't see me say hi. I thought she was going to chat with me for a minute. Hello, Fun to Ski. Hello, Karen. My morning swim is always great with you guys. Ronnie Lawson, now we know that is not your real name, but I will be putting the link up in a little bit. You can come up and say hi. Hello, Denise. Hello, Avi. Wes says it's clear now. Hello, Misty Dew. Yeah, I was chatting with you guys this morning. Pretty much everybody's in the same boat. I'm not ready for this weather at all. At all. What's up, Shep? Do we have any new people in the chat? I had a lot of messages yesterday from people said that I just came in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Seems to be with this case a little bit of shaming. I don't know what's going on. Nothing wrong. That if you just started following this case, you may not have heard about it. With the developments over the weekend, you might have just started following it. That's just fine. That is just fine. So take a minute. If you feel so inclined, give it a like. If I let you down, don't forget to unlike. Please don't. Hit the sub button. Make sure you get reminded. We try to get together every morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Michelle, you're with me. I do not like the cold weather. I don't. At all. Hey, Wolverine, what's been going on? I didn't know what was, haven't seen you in a while. Insanely confused, had a problem yesterday. She thought she was blocked. Y'all know how we roll around here. It takes a lot, and I mean a lot, to get blocked. Now, Ronnie Lawson, you've been unblocked a few times. So I have no problem blocking you again. We know you're just going to come back like an itch. So do I block you now, or are you going to talk about the case of Michael Vaughn? I guess we'll find out. Yeah, it's too much for me. The wind yesterday felt like it was cutting through me. The wind felt like it was cutting through me. Dolores says, Papa Roxy. Yeah, what's going on? Papa Roxy is still in Discord. And I sent him and Alicia a message the other day. He needs to come by and say hi. Where are you, Papa Roxy? Hey, Annie. So yeah, on my local news, they said last year at this time, it's like 30 some degrees right now. That's sacrilege. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. And they said it was like 65, which is a little more normal for where I live. Then I was thinking, this time last year, little Michael's mama Brandy was begging people to cover her son's case. She doesn't have to beg now. It is all over the place. All over the place. Everybody's talking about little Monkey Vaughn. Mayor is on vacation in Key Largo. Okay, so we can go ahead and block Mayor, right? Talk about rubbing salt in a wound. No, have a great time. I love Florida. Love me some Florida. So, like I said, everybody's talking about it right now for good reason. For good reason. A lot going on. A lot going on. They're still excavating in the backyard. The chief said yesterday they might be there a while. They could be past Thanksgiving. They could be past Thanksgiving. Who knows? They said they still want tips to come in. They're still looking for tips. And I'm not surprised. Back in July, the chief said that multiple persons of interest is on their radar. He didn't name names. A lot of info has come out that they said they're getting more tips now. So the info that has come out obviously has opened the floodgates. And I mean the real floodgates. You know what I mean? The real floodgates, not the, hey, I was in a Facebook group and they were saying that they think Sarah might be in the same cult as Lori Vallow. They don't mean those kind of tips. People are really talking now. Putting out her mugshot. The arraignment is on, what is it? KTVB. What's the call letters? KTVB. Yeah. We're going to go through that today. Camelot. How big is the yard they're digging in terms of acreage? Digging isn't really the word I would use. It's a small backyard. It's a small fenced-in backyard. And they're not, I wouldn't use the word digging. They said they're like peeling back the soil, then using smaller tools to dig around in that area. So it's not like they're digging a swimming pool. They don't have like a backhoe that's just taking big chunks of earth up. Welcome, Shep, and I did not know that was your avatar. Shep is now a YouTube member, and his avatar is Chris Farley as a Chippendale. He got a lot of awesome avatars. I saw JTB changed hers. So it's a small backyard, and like they're peeling it back, they're scraping it back. So it comes out, unbeknownst to me, that the information that was put in the Idaho Statesman, they say it's leaked from the arrest affidavit or the probable cause. I don't know how they can call it leaked because I can see how this happened. It's also in the East Idaho News, People Magazine, NBC, and I don't mean NBC as in the local affiliate, I mean NBC. A big one. So I guess a lot of people are upset about this, but but law enforcement isn't saying anything. The judge hasn't said to take any of these articles down, but I can see how it happened. And it's happened in other cases, most notably Delphi back in the spring. So it was explained by an email was sent. An email was sent to someone at Idaho Statesman who replied and basically said, we're not doing a retraction. A retraction is if we put up information that was wrong. This information isn't wrong. We haven't received anything from the judge saying to take it down. And that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Even if all 6,000 people in Fruitland, Idaho wrote emails, it would be a slow news day on these deaths. They'd be like, only 6,000? Only 6,000 messages today? What the hell's going on? Anyway, so they said, no, it's not coming down. If we get something from the judge, we'll look at it. So you can see clearly what happened. On Monday, the charges became public. Part of those charges are the probable cause or arrest affidavit, which was not sealed at the time. So the document wasn't thrown out there, but different things in it were put out, like how they forced entry into the home. Sarah's on the couch. She said God talked to her. She said Stacy. She mentioned another name, which could possibly be a town. We don't know. Then she said something about a neighbor's yard. That's really it. We basically, what we got from it is the woman is a liar. The woman is a liar. Don Wells, this has nothing to do with you. Of course she's going to lie because she's in trouble. She's been covering up something very, very, very bad for almost a year and a half. Almost a year and a half. Almost a year and a half. So like I said, it's happened in other cases. Oh, anyway, back to my train of thought. Sorry. So they take basically what we talked about yesterday and put it out there. The Idaho Statesman, like I said, then East Idaho News, People Magazine, NBC. People Magazine gave credit to another YouTuber for something they saw on TikTok. Since when the hell do you get credit for something you noticed on a public profile? I mean, buckle up. Buckle up. A case that needed a lot of attention has left the station. Buckle up. So they release it. They have the charges out. They have the arrest affidavit, probable cause, all that stuff. She puts her article out. Other people put their article out. And then they have the arraignment at 1:30 Mountain Time, to where the judge says, we're going to seal it. Okay, well, it was already out there. Then they seal it. So you know you can't unring a bell. People had already read it. So I don't think the judge is going to do anything to NBC, East Idaho News, Idaho Statesman, or any of the other news outlets that are running this article. I just don't. It doesn't sound like they're going to double down and release more information, because let's face it, they downloaded it, they printed it out, they have the whole thing. So now we go back to other cases this has happened in, whether it be human error or someone purposely leaked something to get people talking. Kelly, I have her comment on the screen. She said, I think it was leaked for this very reason. That could be. That could be. It was noted yesterday on the local news that tips are coming in. I put the tip line up there. Something is jarring some memories. People are like, oh, I know her. Oh, hell. Now, if they know her and they think she's a super nice lady, they might be like, I'm staying out of this. But then they hear what little bit was released from the probable cause. Then suddenly they go, oh, now she is a weird ass. Oh, hell yeah, I remember. Now I remember that weird ass woman. I'm going to call the tip line. Because like I said, the floodgates have opened. People are remembering stuff and they are calling and they're saying what they remember, I guess. Because if you remember back in the spring, somebody was, this is in Delphi, Indiana. Somebody was inputting some information into the system and somehow left the search warrant for Ron Logan's property unlocked. Well, people that frequently check that legal portal, which is public, saw a hyperlink and they clicked it and they see like 200 pages of insanity. They downloaded it, they printed it out, and two people in particular went public with it, and that would be the podcast, The Murder Sheet. From there, all the local stations picked it up, but they instantly sealed it. Makes you wonder if they didn't leave that unlocked for a little bit for a reason, because the floodgates open and there's an arrest. Just seems a little coincidental. There was some leaks in the Lori Vallow case. We just spoke a couple weeks ago about the sources that spoke out in the Debbie Collier case. Still don't know where that came from. Horrifically, and now this was done to be devious and nasty. In the Gannon case, the arrest affidavit, probable cause of Letitia, was released. It was given to a website by a paralegal. She actually got in trouble. She got in trouble, lost her job, had to pay like a $200 fine. I hope it was worth it to her. Because when I read that arrest affidavit, it gave me nightmares. It kept me up. It's one of the most horrific documents I've ever read in my life, which is why I think this was a little more purposeful than put out, because they could have put a lot more in their article than they did. What we got was just we got some weird stuff, dude. Forcibly entered the house. She's home. She said it's Stacy. She said she talked to God, said she didn't do anything. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's not sealed for a couple hours, then we sealed it? Do you think that was just to put out a little bit of information, hoping tips come in, or was this just truly a boo-boo? Because I wonder myself. I look at what the chief said back in July, where they have multiple persons of interest. I'm not talking about anyone's athletic ability, but I just do not see. I mean, they have equipment back there peeling back this soil. You guys have all done landscaping, probably planted gardens and stuff like that. I get a shrub that, let's say it's like a gallon, in a gallon container. I feel whooped after digging that hole and putting that shrub in there. And also, you're talking about everyone in that neighborhood, everyone in that community knows Michael's missing. When exactly was this done? I mean, it's all going to come out. And of course, I'm really, really anxious for it too. I'm really anxious. Joyce said, when did IQs get released, or are we speculating? What IQ? What are you talking about? I like your avatar picture, Joy. The probable cause arrest affidavit, when the charges were made public on Monday, that was also made public. And then they had the arraignment at 1:30 and said, we're going to seal it. So it had been out in the open for 3 or 4 hours. And like I said, as people are reaching out to, nobody in the family is, that I'm aware of, that they're reaching out and they're coming back saying, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. Mermaid said, that's a good question. I would think after 1,500 tips that it wasn't leaked for tips. I would think so too, but remember, those 1,500 tips could also be people saying, I heard this on Facebook. I heard this on Facebook. Or have you thought of this? It used to really knock my socks off when I heard about the number of tips that came in. Then as they get further into discovery and they talk about such tips, I go, oh, those are idiots that were bothering them. Those are total idiots. So I'll read this. This was the response from the Idaho Statesman in regards to taking down the article. Now, remember, East Idaho News also has it, I believe, People Magazine, NBC, and there are some others. But Idaho Statesman seems to be the one people are mad at. They said, hi, we did publish information from the probable cause information from the affidavit. Now, they didn't publish the whole thing. I'm just being fair here. However, I accessed that document at the courthouse 2 hours prior to the judge's order to seal it. It was a public document. We had already published a story including information from the affidavit before it was requested or ordered to be sealed. So she said they would have to file a retraction, basically. She said removing it would be a retraction, which is not something we take lightly. She says we have high standards for retracting articles. And one of those standards would be that the information we've published would be proven untrue. To my knowledge, that's not the case here. We have also not heard from the prosecutor, judge, or police department letting us know that there is an error in the article or explaining why the information was sealed or why it would impact their case. So she's saying they know it's out there. The judge hasn't said anything. Nobody in law enforcement has said, hey, take that back. Don't say that we forcibly entered the house. Hey, make sure you get, you correct that article because we don't want it in there that she said God told her. Kind of like when the murder sheet put the search warrant of Ron Logan's property out. Of course, it was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. And they reached out to law enforcement that said, that's legit. That's legit. That's really all they would say. It's true. But they didn't ask that the murder sheet take it down. And the local news stations keep talking about it. It's makes me think that they're not that upset. At least law enforcement is not that upset that we know it. But as far as what we spoke about on here yesterday, I knew nothing that there was a problem with East Idaho News, NBC, People Magazine, or the Idaho Statesman. I didn't know this was all going on. So I was not at all trying to cause a problem. And on this channel, I'll just let the cat out of the bag right now. This isn't the first to know, first to show channel, if you know what I mean. I'm no Lois Lane here. I'm not looking to be the first to the punch bowl. If it ever happens that way, and we happen to have breaking news or something like that, which would be impossible, to be quite honest, it would just be by dumb luck. It would just be by coincidence. Or you just haven't been following that case if you'd never heard it before. It's just not going to happen like that. So, but now, like I said, with the Idaho Statesman, I see what happened. It makes total sense. Charges are filed on Friday morning. Probable cause is available. They run their article. They do the arraignment that afternoon, and they say, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we're going to seal that bad boy. Because it seems to me that the judge and everyone involved in this didn't take high-profile case 101. They didn't know that over the weekend, a case that had been followed would blow up. They didn't realize. But they know now. They know now for sure. There's no getting around it. I do think, I'm just trying to look at the silver lining with this. They're getting tips in now. Because just based on her arrest, which to me is horrific, but to some people may not be a big deal, or that, people don't want to get involved. There's people that want to get involved, but those are the people that don't need to be involved. You know what I'm talking about. Those are the people that don't need to be involved. They have no dog in the hunt. Now that excerpt came out And it's talking about her saying God told her this. It was the high God. And she's like, wow, wow, wow. I didn't do anything. Stacy did. Neighbor's backyard, over by the shed. Then she says it was someone else. That type of stuff is going to get someone going, all right, I'm going to call that tip line and tell them some stuff about her. Just a thought, because they have tips rolling in. And they want more tips. They want more. So I'm going to get to some comments and we're going to catch up with what went on yesterday. Hang on. Fine Art on Fire said maybe Sarah did it all. And Stacy told the police to lighten whatever trouble is already in jail for. Is that possible? Has anyone considered this? That it's a lone wolf situation? That Stacy could be none the wiser. Sarah did every bit of this by herself. Some people are entertaining that theory. Remember, it's just a theory. It's just a speculation, if you want to call it that. I'm leaning towards more people are involved. One, because of what it would take to the labor-intensive job of digging. Okay, I'm trying to be very kind with the way I say this. Do you guys think, and it's all cool because you know how we do here, that it could just be her? Because Stacy is sitting in jail. They haven't charged Stacy with anything. I have a feeling a lot of that's going to change once they're done in the backyard. I do. Sniper. This isn't from yesterday's after show comments, which, by the way, if I showcase your after show comment, send me an email and you'll find out why. But active chat right now, Sniper79 says, I think people are reading too much into the forcible entry. The occupant of the house was out on a felony weapons charges that would automatically qualify as a high-risk warrant. Oh, I get that they didn't have to be nice to Sarah at all. If Sarah was cooperating with them, which she's not, then I don't think that they would have gone through all that. That's just me, though. But yes, you're right. And that does need to be noted for sure. A lot of people think the roommate talked. Some people said, no, I think it's Stacy. Stacy's sitting in jail. He's not going to the diner getting those hamburgers as big as your head anymore. Old boy's had it. He's ready to talk. William says, I agree with Kat. Law enforcement has had their eyes and ears on the activities at and around the Red Wing address for some time now. I agree. Oh, you're right, Trinity. You are right. They do have friends with very questionable characters. She talks a lot about Jesus. She really doubles down on her TikTok about, in a nutshell, doesn't matter what all she's done because there's no good people on this earth, she says. There's no good people on this earth. Which, I mean, it's true if you read the Bible. None of us are without sin. I prefer to think that there's some people better than others, though. So she makes these blanket statements like, there's no such thing as a good person on this earth, and I'm okay because of Jesus. I can't speak for Jesus, but I'm going to guess Jesus isn't okay with her. She did not turn in this much needed information about little Michael Vaughn. That is the reason she's sitting in jail. That is the reason. All right, back to William's comment, after show comment. I'm showcasing from yesterday. I agree. Law enforcement has had their eyes and ears on the activities at and around the Red Wing address for some time. I do too. Here is just a clip of the chief speaking at the 1-year anniversary in July. Hang on.
You know, I'm not going to really get into too deep on the persons of interest, but I will tell you there are multiple. Okay. Yeah, there have been.
All right, so they ask about person of interest. He says, I'm not going to get into that, but there's multiple. Shakes his head, yes, there's multiple. More than one person. They're looking at several people. Then they ask if there's anyone not cooperating, to which he says, he shakes his head, he kind of scratches his face, and he goes, yep, there are definitely people not cooperating. Not cooperating. Country Christie said, Brooks, I agree with everything you stated leading up to the arrest. Of course, I'm going to showcase this comment. Not people very rarely come in and say, I agree with everything you said, Brooks. Anyhow, she said, there are no coincidences in this case of little Michael Vaughn and the connection with Sarah Wondra. God has been revealing and bringing to light the evil this couple hid in their life. Well, I think, yeah, God would be a big part of it. I also think that somebody came across some information. I'm going to guess and say it came from Sarah, because Sarah is the one that got swept up on Friday. And this was information that they just could not live with. Sarah, on the other hand, has had absolutely no issue living with this information since July of 2021. And all the TikToks and the Facebook posts in the world do not matter. No one cares about that stuff. Matter of fact, I have a couple of friends I need to get a hold of because they have shared the same memes of her that she has. There's one about a cat looking in the mirror, and the cat in the mirror is now a lion, talking about with Jesus, we're not little anymore or something. I saw that. I've seen that on several of my friends' Facebook posts. I got to get a hold of them and say, where'd you get that? Take that down. That's freaking me out now. On the screen, uncooperative witnesses said, uncooperative witnesses, ? Seems all the more likely the leak was intentional. Yeah, I was thinking that it was a true leak. But then when I saw how it played out, I think it's just what the news lady is saying. They posted the charges. They left the probable cause open. We ran with our article, but they didn't post the document. Then they have the arraignment, and they said, we're going to seal it. So even though they have all the information, they didn't post anymore. But I think it is intentional, because it can be accidental on purpose, if you know what I mean. Because the judge has not asked anyone to take anything down. And it would be crazy for them to ask any of them to run a retraction, because what you're saying essentially is what is in this article is not true. Sarah has every rights under the Constitution to a good defense, innocent till proven guilty. I mean, I don't work for the courts, so I don't have to abide by that, but you know what I mean. So her defense attorney would say, well, they asked for this to be taken down. They ran a retraction. So obviously this part is not true. This part's not true. So we got to throw that out. I don't know. Now, a lot of people wanted me to take this comment totally down. I left it up. Not because I agree with the comment or that I really even appreciate the comment. I'm being honest here. We can agree to disagree, but, you know, timing's everything, if you know what I mean. And I just said on this, I'll just address this on the show. Jennifer said, let Michael's death count for something important. Keep a better eye on your children. Never step away for just a minute. It pisses me off being careless. The horror that, okay, I'm not going to read the rest of it. Here's my problem with these comments, and this isn't the only one, but this is the one that was left on my channel, so I want to address it. What you're suggesting is that at the time that Michael went outside, his father should have not attended to the baby See, Tyler was attending to another child. Tyler wasn't asleep on the couch. Tyler wasn't in the shower. Tyler wasn't on his phone in a YouTube chat. Tyler wasn't, he was tending to the baby. He's tending to the baby. So I know some people say that they watch their children at all times, at all times, at all times, at all costs. I don't see it. I don't see it. I've said about myself on here many times, I'm outnumbered. I was outnumbered. My children are adults now. And there's more of them than me. When you have more than one child, your time becomes divided as if you weren't busy enough with one. You've got one set of eyes, you've got two arms, you got two legs. You don't have enough. You can be looking right at your child and then get hurt. My child fell out of a tree right in front of me one time. I was like, do not climb up in that tree any further. Do not. And he kept climbing. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Plump, fell out of the tree. Had to go get stitches. Very, very awful thing to say. The Pings in the house, they know where he was during that timeline. If the man was in the shower, it's still not his fault. It's still not his fault. This is getting crazier and crazier. Kids are curious and kids are smart, okay? Kids are smart. People act like kids don't know what's up and what's going on. The hell they don't. Kids are smart. You want to know something? Ask a kid. A kid that you know, obviously. Kids are smart. So I said in that comment, I said, I'll address that on the show tomorrow. And that's that's how I'm addressing it. Because I'm certainly not going to sit here and say, you've got to keep your eye on your child at all times, blah, 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 blah. Now, some people will come to me and they'll say, well, what about Summer Wells? What about Harmony Montgomery? What about Quentin Simon? These are other children's cases that you cover. Harmony Montgomery's father is in jail for her murder. Summer Wells, the TBI is still saying they have not ruled out foul play. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, except for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has not ruled her parents out. They said they're still investigating to rule out foul play. As far as Quentin Simon, his mother's a known drug user, and it was known that she was not supposed to be with her own children unsupervised. There's nothing like that in this case. I do case comparisons quite a bit. I do. Every case is different, though. Every case is different. So these are very different circumstances. I'm not going to quit doing case comparisons because sometimes they help us out. Well, like with Quentin Simon the other day, I wasn't comparing his case to Lori hacking. I was basically showing what they went through in a landfill to try to find her. And it took a long time. It took like from the end of July to like early October. So these are different situations. And if he's tending to the baby or in the shower or getting himself a glass of tea, there still should not be an excavation project going on in the backyard of the Wanderer family. That's just my take on that. I think we're confusing getting busy at home with flat out neglect. And that's really dangerous. That's crazy. Because I'm serious. My son fell out of a tree right in front of me. I have watched my children right in front of me have bike wrecks. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. All right, I'm going to look at this news clip from yesterday, and I've got a few more things to add to the timeline. I'm going to put the link up. Don't be shy. Come up and let's talk.
Happening now, crews wrapped up for the day in Fruitland, where they continue to excavate the backyard of a home there. Fruitland police say they're looking for the remains of 5-year-old Michael Vaughn, also known as Monkey. That search is based off of a tip from someone who lives in the home, and Morgan Romero and Alexander Duggan have been outside that home for the last few days. Morgan and Alex, based on what you've seen and heard out there, it sounds like this isn't going to be a quick process.
No, and already, Shira, we are in the 5th day of law enforcement and search and rescue crews excavating the backyard of that house behind me, the address 1102 Red Wing Street in the town of Fruitland, just 4 minutes away from the Vaughn family home. Today, however, Alex has been out here for the past few days. Today was much calmer than it's been. We've had heavy machinery here the last few days. Today, mostly people here with shovels, and already it's 4 p.m. and crews are done. Chief Huff, though, saying, as you alluded to, they could be out here for another week as they continue to process that backyard. They're not done yet. They're taking the dirt from that backyard and they're bringing it to a location offsite, and they're analyzing that dirt. It's also important to note he does still believe that Michael's remains are here. He has reason to believe that. And law enforcement did arrest one of the people who lives in that home. Her name is Sarah Wondra. We told you about that yesterday. The 35-year-old was booked into the Payette County Jail on a charge of failure to report a death. She was arraigned yesterday. And just to reiterate, Huff confirmed that what led them to this home was a very credible tip. And as he told our Alex yesterday, that tip came from somebody inside the home.
Yeah, Morgan, law enforcement and search and rescue have been using heavy machinery this whole time to dig up the yard, and now they're in the fine-tuning phase of the excavation. They brought in shovels, as we could see. It's a very slow and methodical process, the ISP public communications officer was telling us, and they can't say if they have found anything yet. Along with the yard, Huff said they're going to search the home as well, and they're still getting a lot of tips over the last 3 days. Huff said he has good leads coming in. He feels encouraged. Please keep reaching out. He said, please keep reaching out to law enforcement with tips and leads. It's a very complex investigation, you know, Morgan.
Okay, to me, that says a lot. I know sometimes I reach really, really, really far, but in this case, we have her mugshot. The arrest affidavit was put out Monday. Then the judge said, no, we're going to go ahead and seal it. You can't unring a bell. He said, we're getting lots of tips now. I have a feeling those tips are coming from people that know the Wondras. I'm just, like I said, I'm going to look for the silver lining. This comment speaks volumes. Mermaid in a wine glass, before I get back to the news article, said, at 7, I was walking down the street with a note to buy my mom's cigarettes. So I basically know how old you are. Because the kids that had to survive the 70s and 80s know what I'm talking about. We even had missing kids pictures on our milk cartons. Not all parents read Dr. Spock. They thought he was a quack. He might be. And if you ask, who's this kid? Who's this kid? They're like, well, that's the reason I've been telling you to pay attention to me when I talk. You don't want that happening to you. You want to wind up on one of those milk cartons? I don't suggest we talk to our kids that way, but we survived. We're here together. Not suggesting that. It's obviously a different day and time. And in 2021, when little monkey went missing, his father did have to tend to the baby. That's how it is. And I'm sure throughout that day, He probably also had to go to the bathroom. He probably had to make lunch. He might have had to do a lot of things during that day. We're really getting dangerous with this. You know, we talk about don't be a Karen, don't be a Karen, don't be a Karen. I'm getting lots of Karens coming my way, a lot. Because there's no physical, mental, any way that it can be done. There's none. There's none. None. Has anybody in here, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell these people that are leaving the comments. Have you ever lost track of your child? Ever had to look for your child? Whether it be in a store, in your house. Has one ever gotten away at the zoo or anything? The zoo almost gave me a heart attack one time. We're really confusing distracted and busy with endangerment and neglect. Big time. And it's really freaking me out, man. It's really freaking me out. See a couple people saying, yep, I was a latchkey kid. Yeah, there was no ADT or anything. Your parents would just say, don't answer the phone and don't open that door for anybody. Very sad this is going on. Very sad. As if it wasn't sad enough.
Please keep reaching out to law enforcement with tips and leads. It's a very complex investigation. You know, Morgan, Huff wants to resolve the case and hold these people accountable who committed this alleged crime.
And court records do show that the judge ordered a competency evaluation, a mental health exam for Sarah Wandra yesterday. Chief Huff says she has not been cooperative since being arrested. He couldn't say if any arrests are coming down the pipeline, anybody else, but he did say that he thinks Sarah is not the only one with knowledge about Michael's disappearance. I asked him.
All right, I'm pausing it right there. She's not being cooperative. Well, we figured that. We figured Sarah's not being cooperative, right? She knows. I mean, she's charged with not reporting a death, so of course she's not being cooperative. But he says we think it's not just her. There's other people involved. So I might be in the minority here. That's okay. I'm actually glad that a little bit of this probable cause has been reported because it rattled some cages and people are calling in the tips. They're calling in the tips.
How can you charge somebody with failure to report a death if you publicly, at least, do not have any evidence of a death? And he said, we believe we have probable cause for the prosecutors to charge her with this. It's not just one statement that was made.
Okay, I'm going to replay that because it's really important. We've been having a lot of discussions, a lot of people saying, I don't think he's in the yard. I don't think he's in the yard. And I understand because you look at it and you see a small yard. Let me put a picture up. You see a small yard and you're like, it couldn't possibly take that long, right? It couldn't take that long. Look at that little yard. It's the way that they're doing it. They're peeling back one layer of soil. Then they walk, they take their tools and they go through it. Then they peel back another. Plus all the dirt they're taking out, they're taking off site to analyze. So I see where people are getting that. You know, it's not going very fast, right? Nobody could be more anxious than the family, but so I can't imagine what they're going through because we're anxious too. So Chief Huff says, we're not going through this backyard just based on one statement. We have a lot more probable cause than just her saying it. That was good to hear. We pretty much assumed it, but it was good to hear. Let's listen to that again.
Failure to report a death if you publicly, at least, do not have any evidence of a death. And he said, we believe we have probable cause for the prosecutors to charge her with this. It's not just one statement that was made. I also want to know, as we were driving back into the subdivision after going out to lunch, we did see somebody putting up a sign, the subdivision called Hidden Meadows, that said, thanks law enforcement. And that sign was right next to the missing child sign with Michael Monkey Vaughn's information.
Morgan, yeah, it's also important to note that Huff says that there is not a connection with this house and the people who live here with the white Honda Pilot that Fruitland police had posted earlier last year looking for information about. Also, the man walking by the splash pad around the time of Michael's disappearance that they put out a photo of as well. They believe that they have ID'd the man and previously said that they don't believe he was a suspect.
All right, this is important to know too, because we've been talking about a name that she brought up. She said Adrian. She brought up a third person. This is Sarah. This was in the Idaho Statesman, East Idaho News, NBC, People Magazine. I don't know that People Magazine had that part. And yes, this right here, Nost-It Posts. A TikTok Sarah posted in Adrian, Oregon. I don't know that it's in Adrian, Oregon, because someone said it's actually between Payette County and somewhere else. But anyway, Adrian, Oregon is not far from Fruitland. Now this is her trying to explain to the police virtually what they're accusing her of and what they're asking her. She jumps from, I didn't do anything, to God told me, to blaming Stacy, then saying Stacy didn't do it, but Adrian did. Well, they had traveled to Adrian, Oregon, it turns out. That's how it turns out. So on the screen, there's a picture that we've been talking about. We talked about it in July, and then when we did the show about the unveiling of the semi-truck. Everybody said, who is this dude? A lot of people thought it was his dad. It's not his dad. It's not his dad. So they said they believe they know who this person is. So no further investigation needs to be done, if you get my drift. They know who it is. They know who it is. They released this statement. Huff also said investigators believe they have identified a man seen walking near the splash pad at Crestview Park leading up to the time of the boy's disappearance. During a previous update, Huff said the man wasn't considered a suspect. They haven't said he's a suspect now, so I don't know. I will say this, with Sarah's picture on the news, what was, I wouldn't say leaked. Basically, the information was put out, and then the judge said, no, at the arraignment, we need to seal it. The person in this photo could have easily been like, hey, I heard what's going on. My name is Slim Shady, and that's not me. I have nothing to do with it. Or I'm sorry, that's me in the photo, but I don't have anything to do with this. I have nothing to do with this. I want to see how they worded that. Hang on.
You're looking for information about. Also, the man walking by the splash pad around the time of Michael's disappearance that they put out a photo of as well. They believe that they have ID'd the man and previously said that they don't believe he was a suspect.
We don't have any more information about those two things at this time, the white Honda Pilot or the man that was walking by the splash pad. But we are continuing to stay on top of this story. And again, Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared July 27th, 2021. Alex has been on this story for well over a year now. And this has been the biggest and most crucial development in this case, Alex.
Right, and we're just 4 minutes away from Michael's home right now. His home is blocked off. Huff said that he doesn't want media presence or other people bothering the family because they are victims of the situation as well.
And I'm so glad that the chief gave that subtle yet very needed reminder. Do not bother these people. This is not the time to try to friend them on Facebook or see if the landline listed from years ago works or anything like that. He said they're victims too. Some people will say, Michael is all that matters here. Michael is the victim. No shit. We got that right. We know Michael's the victim. Of course we do. Never going to say that he's not. But in the wake of him being a victim, the victim, his father is a victim, his mother is a victim, his pawpaw, his other grandparents, aunts and uncles, his little sister, his older brother, all of his siblings. I'm even going to say that people in this community have been victimized by whatever it is Sarah Wondra did, because this changed their community. This changed their community. It's very, very sad. So I'm glad he said that. We don't want people driving down the street to try to see if they're outside, taking pictures of their kids, looking to see what car is in the driveway. Kat, hello. Kat got out of class. Kat is a 1-year member. She said 1 year, and I still love it here just as much as day one. Oh, Kat, I love you, Kat. I don't think that's too much to ask considering what's going on. You've never been on that street before, or you do live in the community and you just want to see what's going on. And he's just saying, leave them alone. They are victims too. Also, they don't want people crawling around where they're excavating. And they have said that they believe that there's other people involved. So maybe not reach out to other people that could be connected, because it could maybe slow up their investigation. I don't think they're asking too much. So he's just saying, be mindful of that. Be mindful. Because he said they're victims too. A lot of people have been bringing this up where Summer. They said, what if she has split personalities? I'm not schooled in that. I'm not schooled in that, if you know what I mean. I do know that in Idaho, they don't play around with that. So I look at the Lori Vallow case, and they've had to go get her, I can't say sane. They've had to get her to some level of understanding to put her ass back in court. So if she has something like that going on, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be any easier road for her, because being confined to an institution like Andrea Yates, remember Andrea Yates in Texas that had the psychotic postpartum depression and she killed all of her kids? She's institutionalized. She has no freedom. It's not like she's laying by a pool and they bring out a tray of pills every day. I mean, it's not a good deal, but they don't do that there. I don't think there's even an insanity plea there. And from what I'm understanding, they're supposed to have a hearing for all of this, and she's not cooperating. She's not cooperating. You know, the name of this channel is Crime, Lines, and Lies. We have a crime, we have the crime line, the timeline, you get what I'm saying? And then we have the lies. These people lie. They lie so badly. They do. They lie so bad. They are so known for their lies that even when they tell the truth, even when they sit and they take a under oath signed confession, they still go and investigate it because they're liars. They're known liars. That's all they know. That's all they know. Look at Keegan Kline in the Delphi thing. That dude would tell you a lie even if the truth sounded better. So they'll get to all of that, but I'm piecing some more things together of a little here and there. of things that were going on around the time Michael disappeared. Nothing with his family, because they were just doing the same thing, going to work and coming home, but with Stacy and Sarah. With Stacy and Sarah. Hang on, I'll put the link up if anybody wants to come up and discuss. I have been lazy about that the last couple of days. I wasn't leaving anybody out. Do not worry about that. Okay, so of course I talked about how she went to the ER the day before. Michael disappeared on July 27th. So we'd already talked about how she went to the ER the day before. Well, I just saw it yesterday. Earlier in the month, she had posted this on Facebook. Started new job at Sarah's Wash and Dry. Owner, manager, CEO. All right. So we also know that they had a taxi cab business where people would basically use their own vehicle, their own gas and everything, but they would, I guess, dispatch for them and tote people around, get their cash and be done. But in July of 2021, she posts this. Sarah's Wash and Dry, July of 2021. That's the month that Michael went missing. Owner, manager, CEO. So, you know, she's the boss. It's hers. Fruitland, Idaho, laundry services offered. Now, this would cause a lot of activity at the home, correct? Because people would be bringing their laundry to her. I don't think that she was going to their house and picking up the laundry and bringing it back. I mean, this is already a great service. You've got somebody washing your drawers for you. Imagine if they came and picked them up and, you know, picked up your drawers, went and washed them and brought them back to you. This would be a lot of activity, I would think, at the house. I don't mean that she's got a ton of customers, but she had her home opened up to where she was doing laundry for other people out of the home. She didn't own a separate business. And they already had the going taxi cab business. Austin said, money laundering? It doesn't say money laundering. I see where you're going, though. So this is another oddity. This goes on right before Michael disappears. And I'm not downplaying what happened to Michael. I'm just using friendlier YouTube words, if you know what I mean. So people would be bringing their laundry to the house for Sarah to wash, and then she dries them and gives them back. I don't see anything on there about ironing, delivery, or anything like that. I can only assume you drop off your duds. She washes them. She gives them back. All right. So then, besides the wash and dry business, which I can't get enough of course, we have on the 26th, this is when she went to the ER. It's been noted by several people that she went to the ER and she was out the next day. She did not stay overnight. I believe them. I believe them. So this is on the 26th. On the 27th is when Monkey was taken. On the 27th, they didn't really have any posting or anything going on, but they posted this video. This video, some people say, is between Payette County and another place that starts with an M. And some people say it actually is Adrian, Oregon. I don't know. If you're local there, please look at it. Okay, so this is the day he disappears.
Doing too much.
All right. All right. The laundry business has me all kinds of confused. Hang on, just saying, am I allowed to put Brandy's Cash App in chat? When I talked to Brandy, she said she doesn't have a Cash App. Is it Brandy's Cash App or is it someone taking money for Brandy? What's going, because she said she doesn't have one. I spoke to her on Monday because I was going to send some money over and see if anybody, I was going to put it on the members tab. So she said she doesn't know how to do that. Brandy said she doesn't know how to do that. And I was explaining to her, I said, you download it, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you have Cash App. So does she have one now? Because I don't want to put something up if it's not hers. You got to be really careful about these things. I'm not withholding any support or anything from Brandy. I just want to make sure. And I'm not doubting you. Because on Monday, she didn't have that. Okay, hang on. This is what I needed to know. Hello, Crime Stories Obsessed. Nostit said in the background of that TikTok video, that's in Adrian, Oregon. So we go back to when they unpolitely let themselves in the house when she's on the couch. And they said, ask what's going on. She said she didn't do anything. It was Stacy. God told her. Then it was Stacy. Then it's Adrian. Now people are saying that this video is from Adrian, Oregon. She says Adrian. And it's spelled the same way. Am I looking too much into it? I don't know. Seems like quite a coincidence. Some would say in these cases, coincidence is evidence. I don't know. I do think it's really interesting that was found. Really interesting. All right, so just showed the video from the 27th. All right, then on the 28th, the day after, her husband, Stacy, posts, Fruitland Boy 5 missing since Tuesday night. He just shares this. He doesn't put anything with it. It's just, he just shared it. Okay, so that's on the 28th, the day after. Then on the 29th, they post this video on TikTok. This is on July 29th, so 2 days after little Michael disappeared.
This thing is infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Babe, what did you say?
I feel exfoliated.
Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin.
Oh, well, I feel infoliated then.
There's no such thing as infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Such thing is infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Babe, what did you say?
I feel exfoliated.
Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin.
Oh, well, I feel infoliated then.
There's no such thing as infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about. That's Stacy. They're so gross. I guess just out of the shower. So for whatever reason, we found, and these are not like their other TikToks. This is different. These nasty asses, their TikToks are normally a bunch of Jesus up to this point. And actually, after this point is when we had all the Jesus stuff. But not like this. It's a lot of cats and things like that. All right, so he's talking about exfoliating on the 29th. Barf. Barfarama. On August 1st, Stacy changes his profile picture to that of Michael Vaughn. Now, if this doesn't make you sick, I don't know what does. They are repulsive people. They are repulsive, disgusting people. This is so disturbing to me. It's sociopathic enough to share his article, post a video that day. That, I guess, so much isn't, because let me take that back. I got to find another way to word that. To share an article about him the day after is sus. He's on the sus bus there. That's weird, considering what we know. If it was anybody else, it's not a big deal. He changes his profile picture to that of Michael Vaughn. That is so insane. That is so insane. She is quiet, except for taking the TikTok of him exfoliating his skin. But on August 2nd, she posts Fruitland, Idaho endangered child. She says, she types it in, boy missing from around my neighborhood. Please help find him. She's in jail for not reporting his death. The hell? All right, so they're pretty quiet for a few days. Then we go out and we have a big old hamburger. We have like a triple decker there, and it's got 2 big old knives in it. They're all over the place. These people are all over the place. Then something happens. And he posts on the 18th that she's back in the hospital. She's very sick in the hospital in Fruitland. She's asking for everyone to pray for her that she gets better. We need this beautiful girl healed in the name of Jesus. Again, I don't know if it's an ER visit or if she stays overnight. I believe she stayed overnight on this one. Okay, so they're pretty quiet for a while. They're not really saying anything besides stuff about Jesus. They're all over the place. It's almost like they're manic. Then October 6th. Now, mind you, she's just opened up this laundry business where she's washing people's, jeans and socks and stuff. So she needs to be home to do that, correct? They have a taxi business, so they need to be there to do the taxiing. But on October 6th, she says, got to Melrose, New Mexico. And now I believe because of elevation, Stacy Wonder can't breathe and have the ambulance come in to check him out. Please pray. The hell are they doing in New Mexico? Now, a couple days before this, she had posted they were in Snyder, Texas. And she posted this because she said she was getting ads from Snyder, Texas. She acted as if Facebook or Amazon or whoever were tracking her. I guess she doesn't understand how Google works. The idiot. Stupid. So she's thinking that, she's paranoid. I'm getting all these ads from around Snyder, Texas. Well, you're in Snyder, Texas, dumbass. Of course you are. If I go to New Orleans, I'm going to be getting ads for Cajun food. So they're in New Mexico, October 6th. She says because of the elevation, Stacy can't breathe, so the ambulance is coming to get him. All right, so then this looks like this is the 7th. The next day, she says he's out of the hospital. Then they're quiet again. They don't really post anything about traveling back to Idaho, and I don't see any posts about why they traveled out of Idaho anyway. Maybe I missed it. They have several different accounts, so if you know, I'd love to know. Then we get to this post that really bothers me. This is in November 2nd, 2021. She says, watch out. You're walking into traps. Guard your children. Take it from me, I promise. Yes, sometime in all of this going on, they did get a dog too. I'm wondering where the dog's at. So she puts this up. This post disturbs me almost as much as him changing his profile picture to that of Michael Vaughn. She says, watch out, you're walking into traps, guard your children. Take it from me, I promise. Now, it looks like she's got a problem with public schools. I think there's way more to it than that, because she's sitting in jail. She's paranoid, for sure. Not too paranoid. Well, this is definitely something jacked up, because this is a picture she posted. She took a selfie. It's not really a posed for selfie, so I don't know. Unless someone's cut out of this, I don't know. I don't remember what the original one looked like. But over her right shoulder is the flyer of Michael Vaughn. As I mentioned, they did get a dog, and they were posting a lot about pit bulls are family and things like that. But of course, she's in jail for not reporting the death of Michael Vaughn. We don't know what happened. I don't want to really my brain can't speculate about that right now. Then she posts, and I'm not even wanting, I'm not having this debate or discussion. It's not about that. It's just about the nastiness of Sarah. She posts on October 18th, stop immering babies for your own good. God will not see this as your body, your choice. He sent them to you, and you rejected his little gifts. He will see it as rebellion and sin and evil. So turn from your sins, confess them to God, run to Jesus, and ask for forgiveness, that you might be saved and sin no more. Walk in his Holy Spirit, he will give you. You can be forgiven, but it is about to be too late for even that, so please don't wait. Ask God today to forgive you. What the hell? What the hell? So she's giving everybody her take on the Roe versus Wade debate, okay? It's going to be too late, yet she didn't even report the death of Michael Vaughn. Little bit of a hypocrite, aren't we? Then, of course, we get to where we are now. There's her mugshot. Was not a good hair day for Sarah. She looks like hammered shit. Fruitland Police Chief J.D. Huff just confirmed Sarah Wandra, an occupant of the home they are excavating, may have had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report it. The credible lead came from someone else inside the home. So it's not her. She's not the credible lead. Stacy's in jail. Stacy can't be in the house. Stacy can't be in two places at once. Huff also told Duggan that they believe more people have knowledge of this and he will be seeking those people out. So that's another reason why I'm not too upset about this. It's not a leak. It's something that was put out before it was sealed, as in the probable cause, because as we heard in that news clip, they're starting to get more and more and more tips. More and more tips. That's a good thing. People can actually give them credible tips now because they know where they're going with this. They have their people. Now the floodgates are open. And there's her charges. And it shows the date of the charges is Saturday. I don't know about all that. I don't know how they do their data entry there, but she was arrested on Friday. I'm going to put the link up again, and I'm going to load her full arraignment. Her full arraignment, which is not just privy to me. It's on KTVB. I'll put the link up, too, if anybody wants to come up and discuss, because this is a lot. to take in. With this case, we basically covered it when there was an update, when the chief addressed the community, because there was a problem. I'm not going to lie. If you came out and you were defending or supporting the family in any way, there were certain groups of people that would make your life next to impossible. Now, if there was a live where people were just tearing them limb to limb, they sort of got it out of their system and they didn't mess with Brandy and Tyler and their family too bad. They just didn't. They vented, they got it out of their system, they were good. But it seemed to really inflame people when you did one in support, and Brandy just didn't need that. She really just didn't need that. One dude pretty much just went off the radar altogether. He couldn't take it anymore. You can't blame him.
All right, we will next take up the case of Sarah Wandra.
Excuse me, Your Honor, do you need me for anything else today?
I do not. No, thank you very much for your help.
All right, you're welcome.
Are you Sarah Wandra? Ma'am, can you hear me? I need you to move in a little closer to the mic. I'm unable to hear you.
No, Stacy Wandra.
Okay. You're Stacy Wandra?
I'm Sarah Wandra, sorry.
You're Sarah. Okay, thank you.
Does anyone think that she's purposely acting like crazy? Like a crazy person? Debbie says, Brooks with an exclamation point. What's going on, Debbie? She's saying that she's her husband. But when the police went to her house on Friday and busted up her Friday night, she said Stacy's the one that is responsible for this heinousness. Then she said some guy named Adrian, or girl, we don't know what's going on in her brain. Now she's saying she's Stacy. I don't know if she's trying to play crazy. It really isn't going to matter because, like I said, they're just going to give her some pills that wake her up and they're going to tote her ass into court.
No, Stacy Wandra.
Okay. You're Stacy Wandra?
I'm Sarah Wandra, sorry.
You're Sarah Wandra. Okay, thank you. Ms. Wandra, in this case, which is CR 38221769, you are charged with having violated the law in one count. It is alleged that you did on or about the 12th day of November of this year here in the state of Idaho fail to notify the coroner of a death, the death of Michael Vaughn, with the intent to prevent the discovery of the manner of death. That is a felony here in the state of Idaho. Do you understand the allegation that's been made against you?
I understand what they said. It's not correct.
All right. You have a number of rights when you are charged with a crime. The deputies typically hand out a document that describes those rights in detail. Did you receive a document like that?
They're giving me documents right now.
All right. So in a criminal case, ma'am, you have the right to remain silent as it relates to the underlying charges. You have the right to require the state to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to cross-examine and confront the evidence the state may put on in an effort to prove its case, the right to testify in your own defense if you wish to, the right to use subpoenas to bring witnesses and evidence to the trial as you may determine to be appropriate, and the right to be represented by an attorney at all stages of these proceedings.
Okay, so they give her like the how to be a prisoner book, basically. So in there, we're just explaining you have a ton of rights, lady. You have a ton of rights. You can testify in your own defense. You cannot say a word. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. She still acts like she's been bothered from a nap. And she's saying that her name is Stacy. She is wasting her time. If this is a put on, if this is an act, it's a bad acting job. It's a very bad acting job. Because in Idaho, they don't even have this defense. They don't even have this defense.
Do you understand that you have those rights?
I have those rights, but I don't have anything to speak silent. I did nothing wrong.
All right, well, so I'm going to remind you that you have the right to remain silent. I'm not going to say anything to you or ask you any questions that are designed to get you to speak about or encourage you to speak about the underlying events. Everyone who gives up that right and does speak about the case or make any statement at all about it, of course, those can be used against you. So I'll remind you of that. As it relates to your right to an attorney, do you intend to ask me to appoint an attorney at public expense? Do you intend to hire your own counsel or represent yourself in this case?
I'll represent myself. I'll get an attorney.
Okay. Do you want?
She said, I'm going to represent myself. Then she goes, no, get an attorney. Good call. Stacy Sarah. Good call.
Want me to appoint an attorney to help you at county expense?
I'm appoint one.
All right, let me have you raise your right hand to be sworn so I can ask you some questions to be sure you qualify. You solemnly swear the testimony that you're about to give me will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wandra, what is your current physical address?
Well, I live in Hennessy, but 1102 Redwing Street, Fruitland, Idaho, 83619.
Current telephone number? No, scratch that. I'm not going to ask you about that right now. Who's your current employer?
I employ myself, self-employed, taxi driver.
And what is your typical income in a week?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know the exact amount. I haven't been doing many taxi drives lately.
More or less than $500 a week?
Probably more than 500. I haven't again doing it.
So are you working at all right now?
Well, obviously not if I'm in jail, but I only.
Yeah, she's not that crazy. She's not that crazy. He asked her a question about how much money do you make? I could see her not having an exact number. If she was insane, she'd be like, $1 million. It'd be something like that. But he goes, are you working right now? She's not that crazy. Because she said, well, obviously not if I'm in jail. So she has a lot more understanding than how she's trying to portray it. You just heard this. You just heard her be a smartass. Well, obviously not if I'm in jail. No, she's not. She's not crazy. Doesn't matter if she is or not. Idaho doesn't care.
More or less than $500 a week?
Probably more than 500. I haven't again doing it.
So are you working at all right now?
Well, obviously not if I'm in jail, but I only work day to day.
Right. So I'm just trying to get an idea of what your typical income is. Obviously, when a person's in custody, they can't generate income.
I don't know my exact income.
All right. Do you own any land or buildings anywhere?
I don't own land or buildings.
How much money do you have in the bank or cash on hand?
I think I have some change in my purse.
Do you own any personal property worth more than $1,000?
I gave everything to the most I got, but I am a car, partially car, but I also don't own the whole thing.
Meaning you owe money against it to someone?
No, I have owned it with my dad.
I see. All right, I do find you qualified for the appointment of an attorney. I'm going to appoint in this case.
Hang on, I got to go back to what she said. Besides, she has a little bit of change in her purse.
Give everything to the Most High God, but I am partially car, I also don't own the whole thing.
Meaning you owe money against it to someone?
No, I have owned it with my dad.
I see.
She half owns it with her dad. What is she talking about? Did anybody catch what does she half own with her dad? I can't understand her. She's mumbling. It's like Jody Sue Brown. What is it, a car? She's not talking about the house. She half owns a car with her dad. Thank you. Thank you. Listen to that over and over, and I'm like, God, I hate that mush mouth stuff. A car. Thank you.
All right, I do find you qualified for the appointment of an attorney. I'm going to appoint in this case Ms. Jolene Maloney. I did review an affidavit of probable cause in this case and do, for purposes of this appearance, find probable cause. What's the state's position, if any, on bond?
Your Honor, the state is asking for a relatively high bond. Obviously, there are implications associated with this charge, and this is the young boy that we're talking about has been missing for a year and a half, and so it should be noted that Ms. Wandra is on pretrial release for federal gun charges for felon in possession of a firearm, and so. And while that would have happened after Michael Vaughn initially disappeared, I think it shows that she's a danger to the community, and she fails to abide by the social norms that we all expect. And there are obviously very serious implications in her being aware.
I love that the DA said that. I don't know why. I don't know why I like that so much when he says, of course, there's serious implications. He said, we're talking about a boy that's been missing for a year and a half. Of course, she's already got some issues that were coming down the pike. She had a pretrial coming up, but he says she doesn't abide by social norms. I love that. She doesn't abide by social norms. Yeah, it's not the best audio, Dia. I've got the closed captions on. I gotta hear that again.
And so, and while that would have happened after Michael Vaughn initially disappeared, I think it shows that she's a danger to the community, and she fails to abide by the social norms that we all expect. And there are obviously very serious implications in her being aware of his whereabouts this whole time. So the state's asking for a $1 million bond.
Ms. Maloney, what presentation would you like to make?
Your Honor, I recognize these are serious allegations. I would ask that the court consider the charges as they presently are and how they are articulated within the probable cause affidavit and the absence of certain facts which may create issues with probable cause. I recognize that the court may have some concern regarding release. At this time, however, I would ask that the court consider any electronic monitoring in lieu or in conjunction with a lower bond, less than $1 million. $1 million.
All right. In this case, the court, as it does in all cases, of course, takes into account Idle Criminal 46 and the factors set forth there, specifically problematic as it relates to a release conditions or on Ms. Wandra's own recognizance or her criminal history, which the court was provided as part of the probable cause affidavit, the possibility of violations of law were she to be released, and the inability to necessarily manage those effectively with restrictions on her release. The nature of her criminal history certainly would bring her character and reputation into question or disrepute, unfortunately. taking those factors into account, the court will set bond in this case in the amount of $500,000. Should that bond be posted, Ms. Wandra must immediately sign up to pretrial release services to be monitored. She must be fitted with a GPS tracking device prior to her release from custody. She must not commit crimes pending the resolution of this case. She must not leave the state of Idaho. She must remain sober. Maintain contact with her attorney, attend all of her court hearings, sign a waiver of extradition, and sign up for pretrial release before leaving, otherwise the Fayette County Courthouse complex. I'm going to set this for a status conference and review hearing on the 21st and 22nd of November. The status conference will be at 10 a.m. on the 21st and the preliminary hearing at 9 a.m. on the 22nd.
Your Honor, prior to the court recessing, we would take up a procedural issue.
Yes, I did receive, in this case, a motion, so it wasn't even filed yet. My clerk just handed it to me, a motion to seal at least the affidavit of probable cause, as I understand. Is that right, Mr. Duke?
That's correct.
Okay, so right there, and thank you, Navalis. Navalis said Monkey's Army. So during this arraignment is when he said, it's not filed yet. I do see a motion to seal the probable cause. So this is during the arraignment, but it had already been released earlier that day. That's why I said I'm not beside myself mad at any one particular journalist, especially since the judge didn't say, take it down. He didn't say, take it down. So right there during the arraignment, later in the afternoon, after the charges had already been filed, public, all that stuff, that's when he said, okay, this is crazy. This woman is, when she made the smart ass remark back at the judge and said, well, obviously I'm not working, I'm in jail. Ship sailed, lady. You're not as crazy as you want to act. You're evil.
Does the defense object to taking it up now?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Duke.
Your Honor, the state is requesting that the probable cause affidavit be sealed. Obviously, this is a high-profile case, and there are privacy concerns as well as jury trial concerns should the details within the PC affidavit be released. And in addition to those articulated in the motion, there is still an ongoing investigation, and so we worry about the impact that releasing certain details of the PC affidavit would have on the investigation. So we respectfully request that the court seal the PC affidavit, at least temporarily, until we can have more time to flesh out those matters. Thank you.
Ms. Maloney, what response do you have, if any, if you have an objection at all, I suppose?
Your Honor, defense joins the motion, and I think it's appropriate pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32, little I to big E, that this could jeopardize future proceedings given the public nature of this case at this time. So I would ask that the court grant the state's motion.
All right, I've reviewed Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32, I, and the authority that courts have to exercise discretion in the sealing or not of court documents. And I am going to seal the affidavit of probable cause and the investigative reports attached thereto pursuant to the motion.
Okay, so as we know, he agreed with them and he sealed it. Hold on one second. Grandma Bunny, thank you so much. She says Stacy has fetal alcohol syndrome. I did not know that. I did see in his letter where he mentioned his IQ. Sarah, looking to me, similar background, can't process brain normal. I don't know. The experts will weigh in on that for sure. In Idaho, though, there's no insanity plea per se. If you have followed the Lori Vallow case at all, they basically had her in the hospital. I'm just using that word. And they just kind of got her lucid enough, I guess, to go to trial. I don't know how they will handle that. I have no idea. I've only seen like TikTok videos of Stacy, which aren't going to tell me anything anyway, because I'm not the professional. Not the professional. Can't make that judgment call. When he asked her, "Are you working now?" and I heard her snap back with her undignified, rude, sarcastic response, I was like, okay, that's a little different. I see a few of you backstage. A couple of you weren't connected. I'll bring you up just a second. You can turn your cameras off, by the way.
Specifically taking into account subpart 2E and the preservation of the right to a fair trial. The court is aware of the intense public interest in this matter and how publication of the details of this case may interfere with the ability to panel a jury and receive a fair trial in the case. In addition, the less focus, I suppose, for the court, there are some risks of harm to persons should that information be publicly available. And so in the circumstances of this case, the interest in privacy predominates over public disclosure, as is set forth in subpart I-1. I'll ask you, Mr. Duke, to prepare an order detailing those findings as required by the rule and sealing the case. Of course, this is something that's subject to being revisited should that be determined to be appropriate or necessary. So the order will last until it's revisited by this court or some other court. Do you have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else to take up today from either of you?
Okay, and I have the banner at the bottom, just so you know. This is the arraignment. This is aired on KTVB, and it's from Monday. Let's bring up Just Saying real quick, see what she's just saying. Hello, Just Saying.
Hey.
What's up, friend?
Huh?
I said, what's up?
Well, did you have her Facebook page up a while ago when it said she was running the laundry business?
Uh-huh.
Did you happen to notice her friends list?
No, I haven't really. No, how come?
She's only got 12 friends on her friends list.
She's got a couple of profiles. I just didn't know she got locked out of one, or if she was in Facebook jail or what.
Yeah, it had 12 people listed where it says all friends. And also, you know how he was doing the exfoliating video there?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Okay, well, I saw one.
Hey, Brooks, I can see you, but I can't hear you. I don't have you on mute.
We can hear. Okay, let me send her something in private chat. I don't know what's going on. She's having some audio problems. Go ahead, Just Saying. I'm sorry. So you're talking about. Let me play the video real quick in case people don't know what we're talking about. Hang on.
Okay.
This is from the TikTok on July 29th.
This thing is infoliated. There is now, because I just made that shit up. Babe, what'd you say? I feel exfoliated. Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin. Oh, well, I feel infoliated then. There's no such thing as infoliated. There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Okay, so that's the video we're talking about. Barf-O-Rama. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now there was another video where she was talking, and I was kind of, she was talking into the camera, and I was looking around in the house to see if I could see anything that might belong to a little boy or, you know, any clues. And their refrigerator they had one of the flyers of Michael Vaughn magnet on the refrigerator.
Yeah, I put that picture up. I don't know if you noticed it, but if you look over her right shoulder on your screen, that is a flyer for little Michael Vaughn, for little monkey.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that, but I must have missed it when you put it up. But yeah, I noticed that too.
They are sociopaths, man.
And a few of them, it seemed like I could hear a kid in her videos at the house.
Mm-hmm.
I was really honing in on the videos at the house to see if I could find anything, that would show that any signs of him being there.
It's like, a few weeks ago, we went through the press conference, the release that Richard Allen's in jail for murder, and he lives right there in Delphi. And then I heard this and I said, 4 minutes away. It's like they were right there the whole time. I mean, it's just crazy. Hang on one second. Tilly says, why do you all make judgment statements like they're disgusting or Barfarama? You don't even know how they're involved. Because this whole thing is disgusting. A little boy they're excavating a backyard right now looking for a little boy. What adjective do you have for me, Tilly? What are you talking about? They're peeling back layers of soil looking for little monkey. Do you have better words for me? Okay, go ahead.
That's all I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to tell you that her Facebook only had 12 friends on it when I looked at it. And I was thinking, well, how many people's going to see that she's got a laundry business?
Yeah, that one I can't get over because you have the taxi business to where she was going to need help. So, but people have to own their own car. So it's not like she has a fleet of taxi cabs. I didn't see anything about any licensing. Like you don't have to have a taxi cab license, whatever you call it. They used to call it a hack license. I don't know what it's called now. So she's not asking for particular licensing. You just have to have your own car, basically your own gas money, driver's license. And then she, I guess, dispatches the rides. And she, in this arraignment, she's still saying that they have the taxi cab company, but then she throws this up in July.
Yeah.
It's just another oddity they had a lot of stuff going on around the time Michael disappeared.
I think that's a cover.
A cover, okay.
Yeah, I think that right there is a cover. I just in my opinion, I think it had something to do with that taxi. And I think when she put that up, I think that's how they got Michael, was that taxi. And then she put that laundry thing up to cover it up. But that's just my brain thinking.
Yeah, I think there's something definitely weird going on. There's a lot of oddities between hospital visits and I think what really triggers me, besides the watch your kids, I promise post she made in November, that gives me chills. But when he switched his profile picture to monkeys, that makes me so sick. And Kat's right. She had around 4 to 5 Facebook profiles and TikTok profiles. One of them is full of videos with her and a baby. The baby has different names on there. We're not dealing with the full deck. That doesn't mean she's criminally insane. It
might mean she's criminal.
She's criminal. You're right, just saying.
But yeah, I've been paying attention to seeing if I could hear any kids' voices in her videos and stuff. And trying to find that out. But I just wanted to see if you noticed that on that Facebook she had 12 friends. And I believe, in my opinion, I think that laundry thing was nothing. I think that was put up for a cover up.
I just want to know, and I really do not care about exfoliating skin or what they do, or anything like that. I just thought this is such an odd thing to throw up 2 days after Michael disappears. We share an article, then we put this up about him exfoliating his skin, then we switch our profile picture to that of Monkey. A lot of weird stuff going on. We can definitely say they're weird.
Yeah, something's not right with them. And evidently they've got something major, or they wouldn't be digging up a yard and doing damage to a yard.
Well, yeah, in other cases, I'm not comparing the cases, but when you read as it gets further down the road and they talk about warrants, and having to obtain a warrant, it's not easy to get a warrant. It's not.
Right.
You have to have a really, really good reason, and the judge has to agree with your really good reason. That's why you see, if you follow a case to the end, you see a lot of evidence hearings where they're throwing stuff out left and right because they didn't follow the proper steps. They kind of played rogue cop. And even though in the beginning of the case, everybody was cheering them on, yeah, that's how you do it. Well, you got bored with the case and you didn't follow it, because when you got 7 months down the road, that, yay, that's how you do it, got thrown out.
Right. Exactly.
So that judge was like, okay. And here they are. What is this, day 6?
Yep. Well, if you think about it, it
5, sorry.
It depends on how long he's been gone. There might not be a whole lot to find. If it was hot in summer months, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
It's really hard to even think about, especially I had to really disconnect when they were talking about taking the dirt to have it analyzed. I just
yeah, and more or less sift through it, and I guess I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's factual, but I also saw that the house that they live in belongs to her parents.
I've heard that too.
And then I also saw that the house, it didn't say her parents, but after I saw that the house belonged to her parents, then I saw somewhere else where it said the homeowners knew too.
Well, they definitely know that they're excavating the backyard. As far as anything with Michael, I don't believe so, because, well, they're not in jail. They definitely know something's going on now. And I really hope her parents are left alone, because they might have to witness, considering they own the home. They definitely know something's going on now. I hope they do not bail her out.
I know.
I hope they don't. I don't see what bondsman. That was a problem. I'm just talking about this case because it's in Idaho. But with Lori Vallow, she had money. There was money to bail her out, but there was no bondsman that would do it. That might be the case here. You don't want to be the person with
that on your shoulders.
Well, you don't want to be that one with everybody's heart broken over Michael Vaughn, letting her out, whether you're taking responsibility or not.
And I was wondering too, where they were saying that there were other suspects and other people. I was wondering if that could be, if her parents could, if they know that her parents knew. Because if they knew, they'll be in a heap of trouble.
If they knew. I don't know who the other suspects are. He had said in July, well, here, I'll play the clip real quick, that there's multiple persons of interest.
Right.
And we had talked on the show yesterday, and Kat had said it, and a lot of people agreed. I agree that I think they were closing in on this. Hang on.
You know, I'm not going to really get into too deep on the persons of interest, but I will tell you there are multiple. Okay.
Are there any people that you interviewed or searched that have been non-cooperative?
Yeah, there have been.
So he said right there, yeah, there's people that are uncooperative.
Yep.
And he said multiple persons of interest. I don't know. They're going to have to. It changes things now that they've definitely cracked the case.
Right.
Exactly, Gaelic. Thank you so much, Gaelic. Bring Michael home. Bring Monkey home.
It just breaks my heart that Brandy sat there all day outside listening to the machines and stuff. She could hear it. You know, it was that close to her. And people that are, it's just aggravating that people are victimizing, or I mean, not victimizing, but victim blaming Tyler.
Hopefully we're way past that now. Hopefully we're way past that. There's some people that aren't going to leave it alone. And I think the more that we just are just positive, that will quelch that, I hope.
I hope so, because, you know, that man, the guilt that he'll carry, and he'll have to deal with this and live with this. You know, I can't imagine me having to live with it.
Oh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't wish this on. I can't think of. Oh, I can't. I wouldn't trade places with them for $1 billion. I wouldn't wish anybody.
But you're right, though. You cannot have your eyes on your kids every minute of every second of every day.
It's impossible.
You have to feed them. You have to, you have to take care of them. You can't take care of them with all your eyes on 3.
You don't know. You don't have enough limbs, you know?
Right.
And if if they're sitting on your lap all the time, you're going to make them a little socially awkward, don't you think? They've got to they've got to be independent to some point. Now, I'm not saying I don't want that taken too literally, but exactly.
Yeah. But I really feel for him too, because he's took a lot of heat and a lot of criticism, and I hope it all gets squashed, because he's owed a lot of apologies.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think he's that. I haven't talked to him. I'm just I think that's probably the last thing on their mind right now, because I couldn't imagine being anywhere in that vicinity. I just couldn't. I just think it is so sad, and sad seems like such a watered down word. It's horrific.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
I do respect the law enforcement for blocking off the road and not allowing people to harass them and, go by their house and aggravate them.
Mm-hmm.
That's commendable. That's respectable out of them to do that.
Eileen, I'm just putting this comment up real quick, and I'm with you, Eileen. once you get past the crying and looking at the pictures and the, they're excavating. Of course, we've seen Monkey's pictures. And then you just get so damn mad.
Yeah.
You're just pissed off.
And, I'm sure Brandy and them have questions of, if he was there and how long was he there. I don't want to say it, but how long was he there alive?
We don't, yeah. There's a lot of questions. That
4 minutes. Yeah. 4 minutes away from him. I don't know. 4 minutes away from home. I don't know. I'm sure it'll all come out because it looks like they're doing a really good job on it. I mean, they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's, it looks like. And I don't think she's crazy.
No. I think she's trying to act it, just like, asked her name and she gives her husband's name.
Yeah.
Just like they come to the house and she says, "Oh, wow. God told me." She's definitely not all there. Okay. But when he asks her, this tells me a lot. Okay. This really does. Weird things stick out to me. So when he says, "Are you currently working?" Well, obviously not, that I'm in jail. I'm like, that's all we need, sister.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got that sort of sarcastic, smart ass comment for the judge as you're sitting in jail, yeah, nah, that's all right. We're good. We're good here.
Also, did you notice that they asked her how much money did she make a week? And she said, well over $500 a week.
See, I couldn't quite make out what she was saying as far as the money goes. And he was just trying to figure out if she could be afforded an attorney. That's why he said, "Do you own any property?" People often
right.
property, or they put it up as collateral. Well, I've got some change in my purse. See, there's another hint.
Another smart ass.
Yeah.
She just being a smart aleck.
Kat just said Sarah Wondra just had her entire court record sealed. When are people, that's good. Good deal. Good deal, Sarah. It's all going to come out anyway, but
yeah,
better, what? Just seal it all. Seal it all. If that's what she wants and that's how she's participating in her defense, because she has all the rights, okay? She has all the rights, believe it or not. She just can't walk around free. She has all the rights to defend herself. Don't want it turned around later saying that she was denied any rights.
Right. I also, this thought went through my mind. Her husband, or Stacy, whatever his name is, he's in jail. He's been in there since May, right?
I think so, April or May.
And people are asking why he's not arrested. I'm wondering if he didn't. She filed for divorce on him last month. And I'm wondering if he didn't sing like a canary and make some kind of deal with him to keep him from getting in as much trouble as her.
I don't know that they would make any deals whatsoever, considering little Michael Vaughn has been missing for 1.5 years. I think it just comes down to what the chief said. We're still investigating.
Yeah.
These things take time, and he's not going anywhere. He's in custody.
Well, that's good, but I just wonder if they've questioned him about it or anything, and if he's
they've talked to him. Of course, they just didn't say what the entire context of the conversation was.
I don't know. He might just be mad because she filed for divorce, and he might just have told enough to keep his toes out of as much hot water as hers is going to be in.
He lived in the hot water. He lived in that house.
Yes, he did.
He changed his profile picture to that of Michael Vaughn and lived in the house.
That's gross. That's just I just I don't know. I can't. I'm like you. I can't even let my mind go there.
No.
But anyway, I just wanted to ask you if you looked at that Facebook and saw when she changed that thing to the laundry business that she only had 12 friends. So I think that was a cover up to cover up the taxi situation.
Yeah, she's a real entrepreneur, is she not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if that's how she got him. I mean, they had to get there somehow.
I don't know. Could have drove. They're only 4 minutes away. I don't know.
I know. But anyway, I'll jump down and let somebody else come up. But yeah, it's beyond. I can't even imagine what the family's going through, and you know, that poor Brandy, she can't even contain herself.
Probably having to hold her back, I imagine.
Yeah, I think she said once she just wanted to go down there and blow the place up.
Oh, I hope she didn't say that, but I'm sure she might be thinking some things.
Yeah. But she promised the chief that she would not go near there.
She doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
To interfere with this case. And there's already a lot going on because there is so much interest in the case. She doesn't want to do anything that's not going to delay
mess it up. Right.
Justice for little Michael, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I'm sure their heart sank whenever they was told that they were digging up a yard. But anyway, I'll jump down and let somebody else come up. And I enjoy your live.
Well, I enjoyed having you up. Don't be a stranger.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Let's all give a round of applause for Just Saying that came up. I dropped the link if anybody wants to grab it and come up. If not, I'm going to start winding this down. I didn't realize I'd kept you guys over 2 hours. There was just a lot to discuss today, a lot on the table, if you know what I mean, and that's what we do around here. So I think it's pretty safe to say we're all pretty much thinking that there's more people involved. Does anyone, I know I asked earlier and I missed some of the voting, does anyone think that she did this by herself? Him living in the house all this time, they were married, all the posts he made about her and everything seems kind of like partners in crime. And just because she's only been, I say only like it's not a big deal, just because she's been charged with not reporting a death doesn't mean that's it. This is not anywhere near over. Like I said the other day, every time we've done, I couldn't imagine being Brandy and Tyler because now they were already in trauma, agony, basically in hell before. And now it's a whole new chapter of hell, a whole new one. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. I don't have any enemies that I know of, but I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't trade places with them for anything. It's awful. All right, guys, I'm going to start winding this down. I'll see you over in Discord or in one of the Facebook groups. And anything happens, of course, we're going to be here to discuss it. But you guys are the absolute best. Mods, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you guys. If I don't catch you sometime today in one of the groups or something like that, then I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. As always, you guys are the absolute best that YouTube has to offer. Best chat and best community and awesome, awesome people. See you later.